Hello everyone, Manthroll here, and welcome to a bit of a review for the Dimension of the Damned event as a whole. Not so much just the one part of the finale, but the whole thing together. So my thoughts and feedback on it are a little bit mixed, because I liked the event, I liked what it was. It's just some of the execution, and Jackets themselves had admitted it, and one of the mods that was behind development of it had admitted that there's a lot of flaws to the plans of things, and that they didn't go as expected or smoothly. They tried to fix them like right away. Even if you watched the stream for the finale, there was a few issues. The one J-Mod that was supposed to be on the couch, dressing with everybody, he actually got up quick and ran to his, the area to try to fix and solve the problem quick before it became too much of an issue. But they were able to fix some of it in time, but not completely. So my thoughts on this is the miasma. It was supposed to be in certain areas only, but it appeared basically it was everywhere kind of type deal for a while. If it would have went as smoothly as had planned, it would have been much better. So my main thought on the whole Dimension of the Damned as a whole is that it needed more prep time. It shouldn't have been released yet, because there was bugs in it, and there was actually major bugs. Bugs that, some people got to miss out on stuff because of it. Now, some people, like myself, it didn't really bother them too much, but other people, rightfully so, it bothered them. Me, I wasn't expecting to win, so, I didn't go into the mindset that, I had a chance. I went into the mindset that I was just going to have fun. Now, would I have liked to have played longer? Yes. But it is what it is. And that's my approach. Because, I went in with just the hope of being able to get, the qualifying and getting that title itself, because I thought that was cool enough for me, personally. Anyway, the rest of the stuff would have been nice, but that's what I was mainly after. But going back all the way to the beginning of the Dimension of the Damned, the one thing that needs to be done in the very beginning part is there needs to be more types of zombies. They do have the runner one, they did have a melee only one, they did have a range only one. For the, what could hurt it. But they didn't have one that could actually shoot projectiles. And there should be ones that can actually, maybe they're throwing throwing axes, maybe they're spitting something. There should be a little bit more variances, because this way because when it came time for the qualifying period, your main objective, if you wanted to qualify, was to actually use range. And with that being the case, it made melee a little bit less important, but melee was useful for defending the person who was qualifying. At least, that's what I did. And it made it kind of painfully easy to do so. So my suggestion to that would be for them to, expand a bit more on the types of zombies. This way, somebody who's just standing back and ranging can't necessarily have it easy. And the zombies should be targeting whoever is doing the most damage, not just whoever, hits it first or whatever. Which I know there is a threat system in place, but with all the zombies being like melee versions, that's all they could use. kind of took away from the event a little bit. Again, my personal opinion with that. I think that was one of the main drawbacks. The other drawback is, I believe, like your barricades. You should not be able to destroy your own barricades. And they should have a bit more health to them than they did. For needing 4 logs in order to make a barricade, it was quite expensive to make 1 barricade. And not to mention, it would be kind of nice if they were stackable with maybe a limit to the stack, maybe 10 per stack. That would have made them a lot more in high demand. People would have used them probably a lot more. So if they would be, stronger, and if they would be able to actually do a bit more, they would have been used a whole heck of a lot more, because they were actually extremely good. It's just when you're able to hit your own barricade because you're using AoE attacks, that kind of takes away the whole point of using a barricade. Because every single time I were to use range, no matter where I was attacking, it seemed like my, reflective shot, or, I don't have it normally on my ability bar. Ricochet. Oh, okay, Ricochet. Yeah, it's Ricochet that does it. No matter what I'd seem to do, Ricochet always seemed to come back and hit the barricade, as well as 2 zombies. So that kind of sucked, but that is a small issue. The other thing I think would be very beneficial is if the map was a bit larger, because they said it was going to be the free-to-play area, which it was for the most part. There's a few areas that were just locked off. For instance, there was one spot to get Rune Ore. That's fine. It makes it a lot harder to get. But there's one spot you could get magic trees, but you couldn't get to the magic tree. And that magic tree is by the Mage Training Arena, which is, by the fight arena near Al-Kharid. So, east of those mines there. Now I know some people will be like, well, if you could get to there, it'd make things a little too easy, because then people could just go out there and everybody would have magic bows, because the resources don't deplete like they do for mining, which would be a fair statement, except for the fact that if you have a lot of people going out to chop down that tree just for maybe 1 or 2 logs, I mean, that's all people are going to be going for. It puts range at a very huge disadvantage with being able to get it, because the only way to actually be able to get it then was to get it through those packs, which is okay in a sense, but there should be more capability to it than that. So a little bit more variances. Another thing is they should have made it so you could actually, the undead beef, undead raw beef I should say, should have been allowed to be cooked into sinew. This way that sinew could have been used to make crossbows to add a little bit more variances for range. Because other than using a bow, you would have had to use either throwing knives or throwing axes, which are not very practical considering how short supply ores, especially mid to high level ores, were actually getting to be. So that was another thing. Now I know somebody, I've seen that they said they should have stated that you wouldn't be able, or the bosses were going to be debuffed, and well, not debuffed, but so much as their drops were debuffed, and that the drop boxes were going to be increased. But they actually did make that statement. That actually was something that was known. It wasn't actually anything that was hidden. If you were, paying attention to the emails, you were getting the notified that there was changes, and we should have looked. That's why I'm not too irritated about the miasma, because I didn't realize there was going to actually be miasma. But at the same time, I should have looked into it more. But at the same time, on top of that, the parts where it was invisible kind of sucked too, because my main account died to the miasma fair and square. I wasn't paying attention, which does go to show if you are doing a multi-login for that event, it's not very beneficial, because you're in a competition, you're trying to survive, you're trying to do all these things, and you're looking back to back on your screen or screens, and it kind of splits your attention. So you're not focusing 100% on one or the other, you're focusing 50-50. And if you're focusing 50-50, like what happened with mine, your one account is not going to last very long. It's going to fail. A lot easier than somebody who's putting 100% into it. Now, my secondary account, this account here, he died because of the bug, unfortunately. There was no miasma, and then all of a sudden there's miasma. My guy died. So as far as miasma goes, there should be a little bit more warning before it switches areas. This way people know it's coming. I know that there was a thing on the top left that had said where it was supposed to be appearing next, but that wasn't necessarily the case. It was appearing in a lot more areas than what was intended, but that was the bug. Which, I'm more irritated for the people who were hoping to get further than they did and got killed by it, rather than myself, if that makes any sense. So yeah, my main adjustments were to, maybe make the map a bit bigger, maybe fine tune it a bit more, because it was lacking in some areas a little bit. And then to add a little bit more variances with zombies. Because it was pretty well, if you stayed within range distance, you were fine. Unless there was one of the hardened zombies. But that was about it. Make the barricades a little bit more practical, a bit better to use. Maybe even make different types, like metal barricades, like a rune barricade. That would be pretty cool. Make it stronger. So that would be my thoughts and feedback on it. It was a good event. It just needed some more fine tuning. Maybe it should have been released at a different date. I have a feeling they wanted to get it released for the Halloween time frame because of the type of event it was for the pilot, for the very first one. I do hope there is more. I hope it's more fine-tuned. I hope it's something that they work on more before the next time. This way, whenever it is finished, it is really ready to go, and there should be little to no problems. By little to no problems, I mean maybe if you're weaving on a loom like this, and it doesn't show right away that you completed a certain section, but it's appearing here or XP wise, that's a little one. But as far as like a whole big thing that can kill you, not appearing but being there, that's kind of a big deal. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the Dimension of the Damned finale, whether you watched my video on my experience with it, or whether you watched the stream, or whether you participated. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but that'll do it for this video. There's one thing more I wanted to mention. I did say about starting to do horror games, and I was going to do them this week, but I was kind of busy over the weekend, so it's actually going to be postponed to this coming week. So this weekend I'll do some horror videos, I'll make some horror videos, and then next week will be the first release of starting to do some horror videos as well as regular content. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, later guys.